Welcome back to this next round of short fire previews, video previews for Which Bookie, and this time we're going to York's Ebor meeting, which of course gets underway on Wednesday, 4 days on the Knavesmire. Some outstanding racing over the course of the 4 days, the Ebor taking centre stage, the Nunthorpe, and of course the Juddmonte International being the main race of day one on Wednesday. It's a fascinating matchup, of course, between Ombudsman and Delacroix, the two horses who fought out the finish of the Coral Eclipse. Of course, can't help but feel that perhaps Ombudsman had his pocket picked on that occasion by Delacroix and Ryan Moore. I'd imagine Ombudsman might well, given the run of things, have the upper hand on this particular occasion. But of course, we got some global contenders in here as well. Denon de Seal, the classy Japanese horse, of course, with Kalandagan and Rebel's Romance form, and of course Darius as well, complete unknown quantity for the Aga Khan here. He is potentially a real player as well. So no bet in the Juddmonte International, a race to be savoured. In terms of potential bets or bets already, in the very opening race, which is the 5.5 furlong handicap as standard, the opening race of the meeting, it's Jim Goldie's Jordan Electric, so that around about 10 to 1 generally each way for 5 places. That is the one that I feel is best placed to take advantage of this particular setup here. Lots of pace on. There's potentially a stiff enough headwind actually at York on the straight, which is a fair rarity really for sprint races at York. So it might be that you want something that's just tracking the pace and coming through off the pace, although not being held up too far. And that is exactly Jordan Electric's style. This 5.5 furlong trip is his optimum. He was second to JM Jungle in a race over course and distance last year, when doing best of those that came from further back than right on the sharp end. And he tuned up for this with a cracking run in the Stewards Cup, where he was bang there in the unfavoured group on the far side for probably 90% of that 6 furlong trip, and he just faded late on, perhaps in a manner of a horse that doesn't fully stay 6 furlongs on what was rain softened ground, and perhaps a horse that might just be cherry ripe next time out, in which case should have a perfect setup here. Stall 10, Paul Mulrennan will have the choice of who to track. There'll be plenty of options, and he's got to go well here, Jordan Electrics, for my money, 10 to 1 each way about him. And the other main bet on the day for the Which Bookie column comes in the next race, the Achim Stakes, of course, for 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs. And the market has got Distant Storm for Godolphin as just shading favouritism ahead of Italy as I speak on Tuesday lunchtime. And I think that's completely wrong. I think Italy should be clear favourite and potentially close to being odds on here. So Italy is a rare win only bet and a strong recommendation I'd suggest as well. At Newmarket in the Group 2 at the July meeting, everything went wrong for him. He got pushed over towards the centre of the track, got hampered, and in a race where it was all a bit messy, he did extremely well to keep on and finish close up in behind the winner Saba Desert on that occasion. He ran that 7 furlong trip in a very similar time to that which Distant Storm did the next day in a 7 furlong maiden, but everything went right for Distant Storm. He had a smooth passage on the right part of the track, and I just think Italy is the better horse on that evidence and with potential to really improve. So 15 to 8 about Italy, the win only bet in the Achim, looks a decent proposition to me. In terms of the rest of the card, found it tricky. Obviously the Great Voltager is possibly at the mercy of Lambourne, but there's some interesting contenders up against him in here. If Stay True was fit and ready after a 3 and a bit month layoff, then he'd be a player under Wayne Lorden, but you'd imagine this will be a tune-up for the St Ledger perhaps. And then the closing 3 handicaps on the card, tricky stuff really. The 2-mile race, potentially Terrorise, could continue to improve but would have to do so up in class in the 4:10. The 4:45 I found fiendish. Really tricky race, 5 furlong sprint for 3-year-old handicappers. And in the 5:20, a couple of horses that I definitely think will run well. Whether they're priced with enough juice in them remains to be seen, but Shaman, Champion and Utmost Respect I think will run their race and be there or thereabouts. But 13 to 2, 7 to 1 the pair respectively, maybe not enough juice in the price for me. So yeah, main 2 of the day, Jordan Electrics in the opening race at 150 and Italy in the Achim at 225. As ever, check back whichbookie.co.uk for any updated selections and for the following 3 days, of course, of York's Ebor meeting. Set to be a cracker.